Hey, what's up, guys? So this is gonna be the the weekly recap. I just got done going over all of my trades for the week, adding tags to it. I do that on TraderView, and for me, it is a absolute game changer because it kind of shows exactly what you should be focusing on and not focusing on. And one thing that I'm definitely getting from my stats is anything over $5, I need to stay the hell away from because that's where I've lost literally 90% of my money. And my belief is because I get too greedy and I want these giant moves. And when you have a lot of range, it allows for you to I don't know, to just, or at least me, uh, go in and I go in with full size still. The difference is, you go in on a $1 or $2 stock, it might move 10 cents, and that might be a decent range, Like, so you can go in with bigger size on a stock that's like $1 or $2. But when you start getting into this kind of stuff, where you're trading like seven plus, I mean, these aren't like bad cuts, right? And the other thing is, I'm going in with way too much size. Like, you don't, if it's got a lot of range, you don't need a huge amount of share size to make a decent payday. And everybody's got their own magical number that they're looking for, but I mean, no joke. Like, even if you went in on this thing with like $100 or 100 shares at like 850, this thing bottomed out down here at almost 750. That's $100. Like, you don't need to be going in with 1,000 shares right here. Like, I mean, obviously, if you have the account and the experience to do that, sure. But like, if you look at this, right, I get a beautiful trade right here, but then it's not good enough. I'm adding too much size to that, which is a very common theme, which is why you need to go back and do this stuff on the weekends because I don't know how many of you guys are, but for me, I get done. It's like, okay, I get done with the week yesterday, right? Yesterday was my last day of trading. And so today I'm like sitting here, I'm like, what stocks did I trade this week? And I'm like, I don't know. I forgot. I forgot all about this trade on QBT. And, this is another stock that has kicked my ass in the past because it can be a grinder, which it was a absolute freaking grinder all damn day. And really, this is how I should have played the damn thing. And obviously, hindsight is 2020, right? But really, it doesn't even have the gap, right? It doesn't really have a gap at all. It starts shooting up, curls, tops up here at like $8, and I was like, all right, I'll take a lower high, that is a valid setup. And so I took the trade, but then I added too much size. If I would not have been greedy, if I would have just kept this, I could have covered half down here. Okay, cover the rest, break even. Okay, well, it's not working. It's clearly not working. Like, if an area rejects, it should not, in theory, if the setup is going to work, it should never go over that at all. Okay, well, it did, and then it doesn't have, like, I'm not looking for these little moves, which is something I didn't really like. I didn't really dial it all in until it was, obviously a little bit too late. But what I'm not looking for these little grinding moves. What I'm looking for is this, where it goes from like, 9.50 up to $11, and it's look how much more vertical that is than this. This is going a very gradual slope up. I want to see something that, honestly, even more than this. Really, realistically, this is the move right here because, this thing goes from, roughly 960s up to 12, and it goes straight up. And if you look at, I want to see big buying candles, long buying candles, and then all of a sudden it starts stalling. That's what I'm looking for, is up in here, and that's why you go back and you do this stuff on the weekends. Is because really, yes, this would have been the best place to take the trade at. But really, the best place to take the trade at, in my personal opinion, is right here. Why? Because it has overhead resistance. It has a bunch of people that were long thinking this thing's going to go to the moon. They're buying the tippy top, and all of a sudden it just drops. This is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a big up and then a big pullback, and it starts slowly going down, because these guys that are buying up in here, they don't want to, accept a loss, and a lot of them are not going to get out, and then it goes up and it goes even more, and then they start going, oh my god, I can't take this loss. I'm going to lose all my money that I just put into this trade, and they start freaking out. Well, then when it starts going down to here, they're like, man, you know what? If it gets somewhere over $11, I'll cover, and or I'll sell my shares, and I'll take a smaller loss. But I can't take a $10 loss. Even if they're only in with 200 shares, like a lot of these people that are buying this stuff don't have a lot of money, and they're gambling. And okay, they just bought over $12. This thing's bottoming out at $10. They're down $2 for every share. That could be a decent amount of money for the people that are trading these things, that are buying the breakouts. Well, when it starts popping back up and it retraces, up to 11.50, okay, yeah, they're taking 50 cents. That's a hell of a lot better than $2. And you start seeing this thing stalling out. That's where you need to take a short at. That's the easiest place to take a short at, and the volume is like ridiculously low compared to this. Look at all the overhead volume. That's the only place I should have been trading. All of this stuff is just FOMO. I'm just trying to make money. I'm trading the P&L, and because I'm trading the P&L, that's why I'm losing trades, and which is why I need to go back and do this stuff. That's also kind of why, really, I shut down my school for right now, because I feel like I was focusing way too much on too many other things and too many projects at one time, that I was getting out of focus with my own trading. And so for me, I really need to get back to just dialing in my own trading. This really should not have, like I was saying, I think that where I kind of started thinking about this was like roughly, right after my last cut. I was like, dude, you're in which has been one of my biggest flaws ever since I first started trading, was getting stuck in grinders. And I was like, dude, you're getting stuck in a grinder. What I really should have done is being able to switch. Okay, this thing comes up, right? It goes over. It's got low volume, right? Low volume means it should be fading. Why is it not fading if it's got low volume? Because there's no sellers. Nobody gives a shit about this. And the people that are selling are people that are trading the P&L like me, or getting over greedy, or they're bored, or whatever. And they're just slowly grinding this up. And like the shorts that are in too early, they're the ones that are driving the stock up. There's no real buyers on this. There's no real attention on this. It's just somebody that's grinding this thing up and just running shorts out that are being like I was. And really, you start to recognize this kind of stuff. Okay, this is a valid setup for me. And I'm not mad with my very first trade, but it never should have. Oh, I'm off. Shit. It never should have got over. That's close enough. It never should have got over that, right? But when it starts curling like this, okay, honestly, take a short right here, no problem. Cover into the wash, partial. Comes up, cover. Okay, I'm not saying don't buy the breakout. That's not what I'm saying. But it starts going up. It starts doing one of these numbers. It starts finding a curl that I'd be going long right here. I'd be adding long right here. Adding long right here. Adding long right here. Selling into a more vertical push. And if you think about that, really, okay, I see you did get long right here. That's 850. You add to your size, 920, 950. You're selling into an actual push, right? Because that's what most of these grinders do. They just start grinding up, and then this is where the move happens. this is also where most of the volume starts coming in, and there actually is a legit move, but then they just squeeze it again, and then it goes down. This is the best place to take the short at, because for me, it's backside, because it's not exactly the most beautiful fucking trend, but roughly something like that, right? And then it comes up. This thing's been riding this trend all day long. It breaks trend, comes back up, rejects trend, and then goes to fill. Like, you take it short, right roughly in here, 1150. This thing bottoms out at $10. Like I said, if you take 100 shares, that's $150. Obviously, if you take the very tippy top and you cover the very bottom, but like, you don't need to be getting the absolute best move. You just need to be present and analyze like what the hell is going on, because this trading that I did back over here is just absolute shit, and it pisses me off. The next thing that I was trading was Sea-Doo. So on this one, I start to long down over here, right? The reason I started longing is I believe I don't remember if it's a nano or micro, but I know it's a very low float. So I start taking longs like right in here. It's not working. I sell it. I start longing again, selling to push. It just wasn't reacting the way I want to. I opened. I in my head I had this amazing daydream of how this is just gonna rip people's faces off and do this. But like right at the open, I was like, dude, I'm in at like $1. This thing could squeeze up like crazy. I went in with too much size. If I would just stayed in with small size, I could just chilled out the whole time. This thing starts popping up here. I took a short above 350, took a lower high, short, covered a little bit, shorted again, and got stopped out. And then I left it alone for a while, and then this thing just started going crazy. And once it came up here, I was like, man, I really think this is going to squeeze even more. And so I went long, very small size, luckily this time. Covered, added more, covered when it started stalling out, covered most of it up here, and then I got chopped up in here, and then I think this is all longs up in here. And so I made a decent chunk off of this, I believe, but I lost a lot of it because I was getting over greedy. If you look at all those buys and sells and stuff, like, I mean, that's clearly over trading like a son of a gun. So I had the right idea. I missed the amazing move. I got, pissed off over here. Took a short over here. In midday also, by the way, which is just stupid. I miss this, which is great for freaking longs. I'm not being present is the biggest issue. Next one was this. So because of the last two, and they both had really good long opportunities, I started like getting very long buys. Well, the problem is my basics. I forgot about my damn basics. Well, this is the ceiling, right? The biggest thing about this is here's another ceiling, which ends up turning into a floor. And I'm trading in no man's land, right? Well, the other problem with that is, not unlike the other one, the other stock that I was just on, I was longing when it had zero volume. It's just consolidated and all that good stuff. This has a huge overhead resistance. I mean, this stuff candle in pre-market was insane. And so there is a shit ton of people trapped above $6. So, this thing starts, it can't even break over in pre-market. And it's not trading on high volume at all. At the open, I'm like, all right. Well, my first and my second and VWAP are all close together. I was like, you know what? I'm going to take a long right here. But I was premature, right? And I thought that I was going to be able to hold this into the open. And, hopefully it would squeeze up to at least, around like the 560s, 70s. and I just wasn't being present because I'm like, dude, you're longing in the middle of no man's land. I need to be longing near the floor and shorter near the high, not trading in like chump zone. Well, I did, and I longed. I got it. I sold. I had this buy candle, and then I started to long before open. I wanted way more size because I was already down, and I was pissed off about this loss. I added more size. I couldn't keep that much size on, so I sold. Then I longed again. I was risking under here. I cut my long, and this thing comes up, and I was like, all right, cool. It broke over VWAP. It was consolidating for a second. I was like, I'm gonna long this right here and hope for a curl and push up. But the difference is it's got all of this overhead resistance over here, all this overhead. Like, I want to be longing stuff that doesn't have overhead, that is trading high ass volume, and like I said, doesn't have overhead. I want something that's consolidated, not downtrending, because this has got a high, a lower high, kind of double tops right here, lower high, lower high, lower high, breaks over the high for a second, and then slams back down, and then does another like little pop squeeze right here. But I mean, it's all backside. My first target is underneath. My second target, both of them underneath the VWAP. Like, that is not what I want to be longing. And so, I don't know. Just getting myself, more present and reading the charts better, and that's why I'm doing this stuff right now. But the next one was Nuke. So this was a good one because this was another nano float, right? So once again, floor, a little ceiling. Yeah. Well, this is also different than the other one. You look at my first target, my second target are very close together, but it's reclaiming the VWAP right here. After open, it's already trading a shit ton of volume, but it's consolidating. And I was just like, all right, I'm gonna long, sold, long, sold, long, sold, long, 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 sold, sold, long, sold, and I covered, I just ended the day because I was already up quite a bit, and I was just like, dude, I'm done. And obviously, I missed a incredible move, but I got busy at work. I needed to leave, and I already made more than what I was expecting for the day. And I traded really well, and I'm like, okay, I'm done. I don't need to stay here and make a ungodly amount of money. I'm just trying to get my one fish a day, get the hell out of the market, and I'm actually very happy with this trade. This is probably one of the best trades of the week. Not just because of the P&L wise, really. Like, honestly, I know this might sound crazy, but in this point right now, I don't give two shits about the P&L. The P&L is not what I need to be focused on. The process is what I need to be focused on, and this had a beautiful process. I did add a little bit too much size right in the middle with all those triangles in the middle, but I mean, it still is not that bad, in my personal opinion. Then this thing kicked my ass. So this sucked. So I just did not have a good read on this thing at all. I can't remember. I believe that this was like a 3 million float. But this thing's just popping up. Well, it had this stuff candle, and so I was like, okay. Pretty decent volume too on the stuff candle. And so my thought process was, okay, I'm gonna short like a lower high, and I was looking for this area. I was gonna risk over that. It didn't work, and so I was like, okay, well, now I'm going to, I can't remember, I feel like I feel like these are all shorts too, because it had this this level right here. I shorted, covered. Like I thought that it was gonna start going down. Well, realistically, obviously, it's hindsight's 2020. But I mean, this thing's trading a shit ton of volume in pre-market. That is a clear indication. Hey, dude, do not be shorting this thing because it's already like it traded more volume in pre-market than it did after the open. And so that's another thing. Okay, dude, if this thing's pumping out a shit ton of volume during pre-market, like, which way is it going? Well, it's going up. It's way above VWAP. Like, your first target is way extended away from the second target, which for me that's what I'm looking for a short. And so it's okay. What do I need to see for a short? Which is where I got completely disconnected on this, because this right here, when I saw the stuff candle in pre-market, I was like, God damn, dude. Like, I mean, you could see it. You could see it, like, pushing up, and all of a sudden, like, it would just start sliding down. I was like, dude, there are so many longs trapped right there. And I have no idea why in the hell I would have freaking thought about longing this damn thing. It came down, started finding. I was just like, dude, they're gonna curl this and squeeze it. And like, I had this stupid ass bias, like, oh yeah, these guys are gonna, man, they're gonna make this thing go to the moon. It's gonna be the next nuke. No, it's not. Nuke was completely different. If you look at Nuke, it didn't have any freaking overhead resistance. All the volume came at the bottom. They're squeezing this shit up. Now, if this would have happened over here, this wouldn't have happened. And like, this had no overhead resistance at all. All the volume came in at the bottom, and shorts are like, oh hey man, this is gonna short at 4, and it's gonna go back down to 0, man. This is a piece of shit, like stupid shit, right? Like, dude, you long down here, and you sell into the pop. But that is completely different than this. This, all of the volume is done, in this area. Then all of a sudden, it does exactly what I want it to do. It rips straight up, sells off, and then it never looks back. And it's like, dude, that is where I should be shorting. Like, that is a perfect short. Even if you, like, okay, that is a huge risk, right? But, I mean, if you short with really small size, okay, who gives a shit? Just one shot. Just take a short there, risking over there. Dude, this thing fades all the way down. If I would have got in right here at like 375, my first cover down here at 260, next one's at 2, another one's probably down here at 170, final target is down here at 130. Like, that is a ungodly day. And it's like, dude, just so frustrating doing this shit. But whatever. So I was disconnected on that. And then on this one, same exact thing. Like, what is the thing that you guys recognize on this? It's pumping out good volume, right? In pre-market. Then it has a stuff candle from like, what is that? Like $4 to like $4.50. This I might have got BPTH mixed up with. I think it's on the same day, anyways. But like, they both had this big ass. Like, look at this. It just rips up. Nothing but buy and sell. That is what you're looking at. And then you have this huge fell. Everybody at the bottom of that is literally shitting themselves. And so, yeah, I think that this is a good call. Like, long in here, selling, long. But, like, the second I got up anywhere near this zone, this should have been shorted. 100%. Not this long in bullshit, because the volume's dying. The volume's dying out, and this has got a ungodly amount of shares stuck above this level. It also had offerings and just being present, right? And for me, like I said, I think that this is a good long. I should have been looking, up in here. Like, really, I should have just had the balls to hold it, because this thing just fell all the way down here, right? Right at open. All of a sudden, it just started ripping up. Okay, cool. Long don't sell anything. Maybe add a little bit more right here. But this is where I'm looking at. Okay, imagine if you long right here at 270, you sell everything up here at 370. Dude, that's $1 move. Okay, cool. It tops out. Maybe you missed this. Okay, cool. Add or go short right here, and then just write it down. And like obviously, everything is super easy in hindsight, but it's just when I had all these stocks that are there's long opportunities, there's short opportunities. It started mixing me up quite a bit. Like I know a lot of people that had a really rough week. I know some people that blew their accounts this week, and it's it's just a really rough market. But I do think that there's a lot of opportunities, and if you can just stay calm and stop thinking about the money, and this is me talking to myself mostly, but I'm sure that there's going to be other people that can relate to this. You guys could absolutely kill it. I know a lot of other people that have been killing it because they're being calmer, they're present, and I really feel like going back and doing this kind of stuff, like what are the biggest takeaways I can get from this? Stop trying to add so much damn size. There's enough range in the market on short and long side to make a good amount of money on zero, on barely any shares at all. So stop being so goddamn greedy, and and just be present. Like if I'm gonna long, okay, is there overhead resistance? No. Is the first, second target and VWAP all close together, and the volume started coming in and made like a cup pattern? Yes, cool. Take the long then, but either go in with enough size that you're going to be okay with it, that you don't add more size, or just be okay with making a smaller P&L and just get the experience, which I feel like is what I need to be doing right now. If there is overhead resistance, then okay, what levels would I be looking for to short? Long into those areas, then sell. If it doesn't work and it keeps going, okay, like just leave it alone. If it breaks through pre-market high, consolidates and volume comes in again, okay, long again. There's another opportunity, and risk just under pre-market high. But if there is overhead resistance, get ready to look for a short, because there's a lot of shorts that are still really good opportunities, and you're trading small caps. They're all still shit stocks. Most of them have offerings. Most of them need money, and it's just getting back to the basics and just stop thinking about the damn money. Because the second you stop thinking about the money, you just have fun, you're present, you're playing the game, you're going to do a lot better. And so that is my weekly recap. I hope you guys got something from this, and I'll see you guys back here next week.